I'm not even sure why I need waders today, but apparently I need waders today. Oh yeah! Let's go. Right, bottom of this pathway, we should find a David. So another local story for us today, and we're back on the tracks. This is an old railway that linked Southampton to its north, and yeah, one we've been saving for quite a while. And we're back in lockdown now, so perfect opportunity. Although why we need waders on what was quite a cheap built line, I've no idea. Right, so found David. Morning, David.
Good morning.
Good morning. You know when you go to a foreign country, like a bit of a dodgy foreign country, and you need a fixer? Well, today, David is not only our local historian, but he's also our fixer. And we'll explain why in a minute. Although David still hasn't explained why we need waders yet, so we'll look forward to that in a little while, perhaps. Part one of two of David's fixing today is got us permission to go in someone's back garden where there was the old bridge. So we're going to see if there was parts of the old bridge in their garden. The first garden of the day was on the corner of Watery Lane, where there used to be a road overbridge, shown here by the National Library of Scotland maps. The bridge is long since gone and the road now completely flattened out. We did find a little bit of the old bridge here, but unfortunately that's all we found. Apart from, of course, this lovely bit of embankment in their garden which used to house the line. So we headed south towards the old mill for our second garden raid of the day. So whilst David counts the actual amount of arches, because we weren't sure if it was 9 or 13, obviously David has got us permission to be in this person's garden, which is great. So we can now walk along here and try and find the old alignment, try and work out whether this bridge was part of the first bit of the line when it was built in 1865, or whether it's actually built for the doubling of the line, the dualling of the line. It's quite impressive structure. 13, David says. I never realised how impressive this was from underneath. I know we've been under it once 3-4 years ago perhaps, but I'd forgotten how impressive this structure really is. So before I get up on the signal, because I think that's compulsory, yeah, is a 13 arch bridge rare? We think it is.
Unlucky for some.
Unlucky for some. Just hugely, I feel, over-engineered for what it is. You know,
the rest of the line was done on the cheap. They tried to avoid bridges and they used level crossings wherever possible.
Yeah,
so
level crossings. There was hardly an embankment on this line. It was, yeah, as you say, so cheap. There's a few iron bridges, you know, going over the rivers along the way.
Had to.
Yeah. It down. So this is a distance signal which remains today. So distance signal, I understand, meant that there was another important signal, possibly a danger up ahead. So this gave the drivers fair warning of that. We're now going to power on south past Goodworth Clackford.
Paul's going to power on.
We're going to power. Well, it looks like we're going to power on, but it feels like we're powering. When actually, if we just watch the video from the side, it would be two old men waffling and. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to head further south than Goodworth Clackford. We're going to head towards Fullerton and see a couple of old remnants that we've again never seen before we go back and answer the question about the arch at Rooksbury Mill. We're halfway between Goodworth Clackford and Fullerton now, aren't we, I guess? And because we know this line, the Spratt and Winkle line, was built with very little budget, we're not expecting to find a great deal, but we note there is a feature down here worthy of our attention. And we should do that as the last thing before we get our waders out. I assumed that there might be a bridge here or something, because on the map it shows a crossing point, but as ever with this railway, it's just built on a budget, so yet again there'd be a level crossing there, wouldn't there? I guess farm access crossing of some kind. Right, so as far south as we're going to go today, we're now venturing back
Through the mud.
Through the mud, and we're just right next to the sewage works as well, so we're kind of, why I turn the camera on now I don't know. We're heading back now to where we're going to have a look and try and decipher the mystery of the article we found in the Andover Advertiser from 1880 whatever, 1885. Yeah. They were going to have to double the track and they were going to have to build another arch. Where was that arch? We got a couple of ideas. Go and join us in a second with a pair of waders at hand. So here we are back closer to Andover now. Now previously we found an old article in the paper from around 1885 when the line was doubled. It made reference to an additional arch being put in near Rooksbury Mill. Now this is the only bridge near Rooksbury Mill that we could find. So is there any evidence of that, or any evidence at all of the line being doubled?
The navvies were engaged in constructing another arch.
Right. And our theory was this should be almost like a different design, if you will, but it's the same design as the other side, isn't it? Just saying, I wonder if there's a break in the middle. I mean, we could get the waders out here, couldn't we, David?
We could.
And have a quick peek in. Yeah, because at least then we'd see if A, there's a break in the middle, which would imply if it was one of those beamed, in the middle's beamed construction, if there's almost like a gap or a gap in the brickwork, or if this is not the bridge they're talking about. The conclusion that we came to from this little scout in the river was that a lot of the original 1865 features have sadly been lost and replaced completely when the line was doubled. So our theory was we were going to see a different brick this side or a gap in the middle or something, but we didn't, did we? No. So at least we haven't solved the mystery at all, have we? We've just deepened the question, but hey, next time. Well, so that concludes our adventure today. Hope you've enjoyed the slightly more local railway that we've saved. Thankfully we've saved, because we can now use and deploy such videos in lockdown. Again, sorry for the lack of Rebecca. Again, you have to put up the glamorous David. But he has done a lot of fixing for us today, shall we say, and obviously given us his local historian aspect on such matters. We will see you next week.